Hello, everyone. Welcome. In today's topic, I will be discussing about signs that we saw as parents, signs that raised some alarm bells whilst my son was growing, and how we dealt with these signs, who we spoke to. So this podcast is for a parent, a carer, or anyone who is supporting a child who is autistic, who has the diagnosis of autism, or whose parents are worrying about some signs that they're seeing. So if that happens to be you, please stick around. Let me share my experience, and I hope this will answer to some questions, or maybe point you to the right direction, or give you a little bit of hope, which is available out there. The signs that I'll be talking about will not be in any particular order, but I'll try and just mention quite a few, especially those that were quite pronounced. So welcome. My name is Wavinya. I'm your host today. I'm a mother of two children. My son, who is the youngest, he has a diagnosis of autism. He was diagnosed back in 2017. It has been a journey, but we are getting somewhere, which is really a good place to be. But I feel the anxiety, I feel the worries, I feel the uncertainty that sometimes may come with this diagnosis. So let's get straight to the point today. So to start with, when my son was getting to a certain age where you would expect a child to kind of respond to their name. At times you will call his name and he's not actually very far from you, and every attempt you make normally, especially those who are already parents, or even those who are who are taking care of other children, you will get some sort of response whenever you call a child's name. So you will call his name, and there will be no response, no reaction. Again, we all understand that when children are young, of course, we're not expecting them to respond verbally, but there is that response where you mention their name and they either turn their face to look at you, or maybe they were in the middle of some sort of activity and they drop the activity because somebody has mentioned their name. So this was one of the things that got us worried as a family. We did discuss about it, and we were thinking, oh, maybe we're just being extra vigilant, and therefore sometimes you notice those things and you keep them somewhere. But it became apparent as time went on. There was actually that sign was quite there. We did speak to some of the parents who were around us back in those days, and sometimes, and rightfully so, some parents will give you will share their hope. My son, maybe my daughter was like that, but it was nothing. But as parents, again, it's your child, and therefore you need to be noting down these things. I did eventually speak to my son's, pediatrician, raised my concerns. Of course, because he was still young. There were, the doctor was like, give him a little bit of time. Let's keep monitoring this. But eventually, this was something that continued for a prolonged period of time. So that's number one, not responding to the call of their name. That was the main one. Then the second one, again, I say this will be in no particular order, but I'll just name them as 1, 2, 3. So the second one that I can talk about is the that lack or minimal eye contact. That was another one. Again, when children are growing, it's part of their it's part of their growth. And sometimes, whether you're playing or maybe they're having their bath, Sometimes you catch their attention and you can see the attention is on you, and sometimes you move around and you can see the eyes are actually following you. Or maybe you're just holding on to something, maybe one of their favorite toys, and you're waving it, and you can see actually they are not, they might be, sometimes they might give you a little bit of eye contact, but when you try to move the object, which at that particular time is the object of interest, when you try to move it, there is that lack of following. The eyes, the focus on the is not on the object at that particular time, or there is no concentration on the object of focus. Again, another thing that made me go to the doctors again, and I said, okay, I've noticed this, what's happening. The doctor did the assessments. Again, they said, we can see, there is that lack of concentration or focus on objects, following objects, or generally, if you put your face there and you're moving around like you're playing games, normally children will follow along. So that was another one that was missing. Again, back to the doctors. Doctors said, we keep an eye on it. Can we try and be intentional about it? Actually, either just by holding his favorite toys, just around to see whether there will be his eyes will follow the object. So that's number two. Again, you can see we've gone back to the doctors. Again, we are sharing the experiences with other parents. Luckily enough, we had a group of parents who had children of similar age, and we formed a really good bond where we would take the children out for plays in a hall. There would be some organized play games for kids, and therefore there was someone, I had people around me. Apart from my family, I had people around me who I could actually speak to. So if, for instance, you're in this dilemma and you don't know what is happening, who do I speak to? If you've got family and you have good connection with your family, it's good to raise these concerns to them. Again, it all depends on what you want to do. If you've got a group of parents, if you know some parents who have got children of the similar age with yours, again, you can share your experiences or your worries, your concerns to them. Sometimes we don't get the answers that we want, because there is always this thing that people may actually notice that there is an issue, but they don't want to add on to your fears and to your worries, and therefore sometimes with good intentions people will say, oh yeah, no, it's nothing, I think you're just being extra vigilant, just give it time, which is the hope that we need sometimes. But also, as a parent, you need to know when you've reached a point where the not opinions, but the hope that you're receiving from your from your family, if it's your parents, the grandparents of the child, or the community that is around you. You need to know when it's actually getting to a point where you now need to step ahead and seek medical advice. So that was two. The third one was when it came to, again, we all know that children achieve different milestones at different stages in their life when they're growing. So the third one, which now was now actually causing a lot of trouble and a lot of anxiety, was the delayed speech. Because as I said, we had this group of parents, and you can notice that some kids have already started maybe saying the mama, the baba, the dada, that those just simple voices that children make. But again, we all know, that's why I really don't want this to be to cause more anxiety, because some children generally have delayed speech, and there is nothing more to that. It's just simply because it's taking a little bit longer time for them to reach that milestone. So to us, again, we were okay, maybe give it a little bit of time. And I used to know quite a lot of people who had delayed speech, and who eventually started talking. So that to me, although yes, it was causing a lot of anxiety purely because I was in a group and other children were starting to to make those noises suggestive of language development, and mine wasn't. So I had a genuine concern, but at the same time I had some sort of hope, because I have known people, or there are some people have shared their lived experiences of what has happened to their children, maybe to the age of 2, 3, 4, and they eventually started talking. So again, back to the pediatrician, and we're like, okay, so they themselves were also, starting to question as he started, making some noises suggestive of speech development, and the answer was to that, of course, no. Then I did actually have a very honest conversation with my son's pediatrician, and I said, is there anything that I should be worried about? Because by the look of things, I've been coming to your team, to you, with a few concerns regarding my son's development. And I understand where doctors are coming from, because yes, this is evidence based, and they will eventually do the assessments. But when the assessment has not been done, to be fairly honest with you, they also don't want to cause a lot of anxiety and worries and fears around either the parent, or even have an impact on how we parent. So I fully understand where the pediatrician was coming from. So I'm not blaming the pediatrician at all. But again, I was actually impressed, because as a family we kept noticing these things. Sometimes we'll just talk about them, but then we have all discussions with other people about it. So the speech delay was one of the things that got me to a place where I was like, I think we need to press on this and see whether there is anything more to actually these signs, especially the three ones that I've talked about. So I spoke about the lack of response to their names, to their name. The second one was the lack of concentration and focus on object of interest, where actually, there is no eye movement in terms of following a certain object. And then the third one, the one that I've just spoken about, is the delayed speech. So these are the three ones that actually, to us as a family, got us worried to a point of wanting to have further investigation. And I don't know, depending on where you are, sometimes these investigations can actually take a long time, because like in a place where I'm in the UK, the waiting list just to have the assessment done is very, very long. Some people, they're happy to wait, but to other people, you just feel like, what, I just want somebody to tell me what's happening. And not because you just want to hear the diagnosis, but you also want to learn how to best support your child. Because once you are aware of what is happening around you, you equip yourself. It brings a bit of light, if I can call it that way. I know it's anxiety provoking, and eventually I'll speak about the emotions that we went through, especially during the time of waiting for the assessment to be done. So I understand the anxiety that comes with the waiting period, but to some extent, it's good to seek for these interventions, the clinical intervention, because once you know what is happening, as I said, you get to equip yourself with knowledge. You look deeper into the things that are around you that can actually help you. i.e., maybe getting into groups with parents who have children who have similar diagnoses as your child, if that is something that you think will work for you. To me, that always works, purely because I always feel like that's a safe space. It's a safe space because the people that you are surrounded with are either in similar situation as yours, either they've managed to get to a point of acceptance, or they're actually maybe at this similar stage as you, where they're just worried and concerned and confused and you don't know what's happening around you. So to me, having that circle of, either friends, either family, or even other parents that you can share your worries and concerns about, this is a safe space for you. Again, you can tap into whatever helps you. For me, I think I'll do another podcast. We'll have another talk where we'll talk about what has helped us, what has helped me as a mother, what has helped us as a family, and what has actually worked as a collective, the collective aspect of making sure that we are supporting our son effectively. So those are the three signs. This is again a disclaimer. I said it in my introduction video. I said that this podcast, which I title When Autism Came Knocking on Our Doorstep, is from a parent perspective, and therefore I'm talking from my experience as a mother of a child who has a diagnosis of autism. I'm not talking from a professional point of view, and that's why I will always lead you to holding these discussions with your child's doctor. Please seek the advice of the pediatrician or the doctor that is around your child, who is dealing with your child, because although this is our experience, it could be different for everyone, and therefore it's not a one size fits all kind of thing. The reason why I share my experience is because I truly believe that there is a parent somewhere who will be encouraged by hearing this, by watching this. There's a parent somewhere or a carer somewhere who will possibly maybe take that step of hope to actually now go and speak to the doctors and express their concerns about their child. Or there is someone somewhere who knows a family that has been struggling because of these signs. Especially the ones that I've spoken today are the three. There are more, there are more, but I chose to emphasize on the three. If I can just mention a fourth one, there is that sense of restlessness, if I can call it that way, where it is difficult for a child to sit still for a long time. And this is really challenging, because you're trying to do one thing. Again, children generally like moving around. They're active, they're full of energy. They want to, especially when they start walking, they want to touch everything. They want to be in different places at the same time. But as a parent, it's just good to see, can that child actually just sit still for some time? Can they concentrate on something? If maybe you're watching maybe a children's program on TV, are they actually able to, can you see them focusing on it and trying to concentrate on it, or are they in and out of it? Again, remember, these are just signs that we experience. Your child could be maybe going through the same signs, but there is possibly absolutely nothing more to it. So this is not to cause anxiety or more fear, but the most important thing is for you to listen, just listen to my experience, see whether this experience will help you in one way or the other. And I really do hope that, you know, as we progress, that I'll shed more light into these things. And I really, really, really hope that this story, my son's story, will be a story that will bring hope to families around the world. So if this is your first time, you can prescribe to my YouTube channel, where I'll be posting all the podcasts. And you will be, you know, you if you can actually activate the notification bell, so every time there's something new, you will be notified and you can come back to it. But just in case you've started watching this one, please go back to my introduction. I did an introduction video where I spoke about why I am doing this and the reason as to why, and how actually doing this is not just helpful for me, but to me is a voice for my son. So I really hope that today was helpful. I hope to see you in the next podcast, where we will be talking more about autism. So stay tuned, and I wish you the very best of luck. Bye bye.